Yo lads, how's it going? And welcome back to a very special YouTube video here today. And about goddamn time, we finally have new season news. So in case you've been living under a rock, I'm going to fill you in. So basically on Android in Canada, India and Romania, we now have a beta for FIFA Mobile Season 6. Unfortunately, still no one on iOS, which absolutely stinks and makes no sense in my eyes. But today, I'm going to be running through everything that's come new in the beta and weigh up my opinions overall on how this could potentially affect the game going into the future. Now, not only is this a special video because we're finally getting new season news, but I'm actually recording a video that is off stream. I know, it's crazy. Crazy. So if you do enjoy the video, I would appreciate a like rating. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe, all that good stuff. And just a notice before we get into the video, Ant1 has said that we are going to get more news coming in the future. The beta is not the do-all or end-all in terms of what's coming in the new season. We are going to get articles which will explain what happens in Season 6. So last year we ended up getting news about div rivals, seasons, etc., which explained all the new aspects in the game. So hopefully there's still going to be some more game modes that aren't included in the beta in the full release. But today, I'm just going to talk about everything that's come new in the beta. Where's a better place to start than commentary? Everyone loves that commentary is finally back in the game. And not only that, it comes with substitutions as well. They've been popular requests for literally years on end. I can remember from Season 1, people asking for commentary. Now, 5 years later, we're finally getting it. And to be fair, there's a lot of good options available. You have multiple languages. Overall, huge done from EA. Popular request. Couldn't have asked for anything more. I do think that maybe commentary will get a bit boring after time, but it's something new. It's something fresh. And substitutions as well. I think it is a huge done for the game, especially for head-to-head players. Now, whilst we're on the talk about head-to-head, we might as well link this into gameplay. The new crowd sounds, the new stadiums, I think are genuinely a massive W. Again, there's a lot of good aspects added into the game. I think the general look of how the gameplay is this year looks like more of a game that's made in 2021. I don't think it's a new engine. I just think that the graphics are better, which makes sense for like newer phones being more powerful and stuff. So whether it's going to affect what phones can end up running the game, we're yet to see. We're probably going to get an article on that like that in the future again. I do think that some of the animations in the gameplay are pretty similar. Finesse shots, but I've noticed there's a lot more inconsistency, which is hard to tell if it's a good thing now or if in the future it's going to affect the game. Now, here's my main worry. The current game is now taken from the Korean version. Chinese, Japanese, Korean have all had this game for the same amount of time. I'm only going to base this on the Korean version because this is the one that I have installed. Now that we have the same engine as the Korean version, we could end up seeing cards like this, which for me is a big worry. What if we're to go down the route of having players that are 150 plus overall, 270 stats? Is this meaning now that the game is going to become the Korean version but a full release? I don't know. I'm very nervous about that. Because stats now, even when I'm shooting with base elites, they still feel really strong. So if we are to never get another update again, and it keeps rolling on each new season, like it happens in Korean, that game does not update, by the way. What if we're to go down that route and then the whole game kind of falls apart? You've seen how everyone reacted to the new stuff with 120 overall unlocks when we got announced that the season was being extended. Has the season been extended because they didn't have the game ready, or because that we're never going to get an update again? Now my mind's in two places, so I'm a bit confused on that one. Sticking onto the gameplay, new camera angles. You can choose any one of 4 camera angles. I think is a big W. Again, that's come from the Korean version, but I think it's a really nice application from that game. It was something that made player bases more happy. If you wanted to be closer up to the action, you can go on camera angle 2. If you want to be a bit further away from the action, then you go to 3 or 4. And then it offers different height as well, which is very good. I do like the camera angle. However, the main thing, 60 frames per second is a massive win. Now, merging this into the new user interface, which is now animated for the most parts, it makes the card designs look really smooth. It makes the overall feel for the game really good as well. It does drain a little bit more battery, but the overall look for the game just looks more fluent, looks better. And again, like I said earlier, it looks like a game made in 2021. So massive props to EA on that. A big one here, the walkout animation, I absolutely adore. Any base player that's 85 or higher ends up being a walkout. It's not there for like icons in the star pass, so I presume it's just like a pack thing. If you're not guaranteed this player, then you might end up getting a walkout animation. Looks really nice. Very nice addition again from the Japanese version. Most of the gameplay side, the user interface, I'm all happy with. I'm just nervous about the future. What I do like though is the amount of variety that we're now going to get through team stats. Every player is going to offer you something different, and EA EA need to stick by this. We've seen during the seasons, especially from like season 3 onwards, weak foot ratings all go to like 5-star. By pretty much mid-season, every single card is getting pumped out to be 4-star or 5-star weak foot, depending on the player. If you're a defender, you're more likely to get 4-star. If you're an attacker, you're basically getting 5-star, no matter who the player is. But now, along with that, we now have new skill move ratings. As well as that, we also have stamina. So the thing is that EA needs to be careful on is not giving every single player maximum stamina, maximum skill moves, and maximum weak foot. It's got to be considered as a stat. It'll help players have more thoughts in the head when they're playing the game, and it's not all the same thing. Not every player is going to be able to do a finesse shot from the edge of the area on the weak foot, because some players might end up having 2-star weak foot, and you've got to think in your head when you're going to shoot that you're shooting on this player's strong foot. Linking into this, a new addition, team skill moves. Again, a massive win for me on this one. I think this is my favorite addition on the game. I know a lot of people ask for commentary and substitutions, but this is a game changer for gameplay. How the team skill moves works is depending on the players that you are using in your team is what types of team skill moves they can end up doing. If you acquire some 4-star skill moves, but all your players in your team have 3-star or less, they're only going to be able to do the default skill move. Again, the players got to be smarter when they're doing a certain type of skill move, and they've got to know how to do this certain type of skill move. I really like this one. Something that I'm not too keen on is the old skill boost system. This skill boost system was in season 3. The way it kind of works was common, rare, and epic skill boosts were basically unusable. And then the legendary one is pretty much what everyone went for because they were the best of the best skill boosts. So like second striker, holding, everyone used them in season 3. So the demand for legendary boost players became higher, and then there was a lot more players that were considered unusable because they didn't have a certain amount of skill boost. Also, it made the skill boost distribution a lot worse. So if you were using a common skill boost, a rare skill boost, and then the rest of your team were legendary skill boosts, you had to aim for all 3 of these skill boosts. Whereas eventually by the end game, your team had to be a full set of one section. So you could either have full common, but then again, everyone went for full legendary because the skill boosts were better. But I'm kind of scared about the game going down that situation again, because what we had this year was much less skill boosts, so the distribution seemed to be a lot better. And pretty much all the skill boosts were considered good at some point in the game. For example, on defenders, we all ended up with captain because of the free-to-play Laurent Blanc in the freeze event. A lot of people switched to marking because of the centre-back Hullet, and now everyone's going into the destroyer because that's what a lot of the endgame skill boosts have. And then again, because people were collecting these skill boosts throughout the season, they were going up. Whereas if you change your skill boost using the common, rare, epic, or legendary shards, if you're not collecting legendary boosts from the event and you're getting only common because that's what your team has, when you want to go and change your team in the future, it becomes a lot harder, and then you're falling behind. So yeah, the skill boost one is a huge help for me. Hopefully it gets reverted. That's my opinion anyway. Some small things, again, like the user interface, the 60 FPS, the set pieces, gives you much more customization on the team building, and I like it a lot. That's a very big positive sign for me. Again, also team building, 343 Diamond has now come back. Been a really popular quest since that went in Season 3, which is pretty much the formation that everyone used at some point in Season 2. Again, I'm pretty happy with the card art. The icon card art this year is crazy good, but I'm a bit confused which icon is which. Like if we go to the previous leaderboards, there's a lot of players who are presumed EA developers that have different variants of icons, and the one in the Star Pass look a lot different to the ones that they do in the EA developer accounts. So how many types of icons are we going to end up getting? I'd be happy with just the 4, the base icons, like we had in the SBCs this season, the event icons that you can get in the events, the prime icons which are play to win. I wouldn't mind prime icon moments which had dynamic images, but all these varieties that look a lot different, I'm not too keen on. Hopefully they're just placeholders that have come directly from the Korean game, and again, don't go into the full game. Now, the biggest debate of them all, the market. This is a massive change. We've gone from an auction bot which controls the market, what the prices get listed for, what cards end up getting bought, price ranges, and everything like that. That's all being controlled through the auction bot. Now, for the beta, this is gone. The market is now player to player, and very mixed opinions have come by this one. Here's where I stand. I just prefer the old auction bot, because at the minute, it makes it very hard to sell players depending on the demand. So the best players in the game, like the Van Dijk, the higher rated elites, they have the demand to be bought. So their price range is fluctuating all over the show. However, now it looks like it's going to be next to impossible to end up selling a gold card. And the reason why that is because the price difference between a gold gold card and an elite card is not that much. And the way the market works with the price ranges, they're so tight together. If there becomes too much supply on the market of this card, price range will gradually fall. But the issue is that it doesn't fall that much. So these gold cards on a season release might end up being unsellable for the first 2 months of the game when they finally come down to like a 2-3k margin. We've started off on the beta. These gold cards have been worth near 500k. No one's going to pay 500k for a gold card, whether it's run through an auction bot or not. It's just way too overpriced. Whereas these elites that are in demand are like 800k. Doesn't really make sense in my eyes. Now, in terms of thinking about this in an event type of situation, most of the events in FIFA Mobile kind of run like you either have a player wheel or you go down a path and you claim a player. The player wheel, most of these cards are next to unusable unless you have a top end player, which means the demand for the top end player is going to be high while the supply is going to be low. So the price range for these top end players might start really high and then eventually come down to really low and then finally fluctuate. Whereas the low end players are going to start really high price and just continue to drop and you'll never be able to sell a player. Of course, this may change for the season release, but I'm going off what I've experienced in the beta, and it's very, very worrying signs in my opinion. Then again, if we look at this through SBCs, if we get a new SBC, you have a player in your club, you can finally look to sell this player. However, what if you want to use this player in the SBC, which means the supply on the market is going to go pretty much extinct, make it really hard to end up buying a player because there's now no buy now price. You are bidding on a card. It's like the stock market, which means you're constantly going to get outbid, and then buying a player for an SBC becomes even harder. I don't understand why they've taken away the function of just a general search and then you just see how many cards there is in a row. However, I would be interested to see your thoughts on the market in the comment section below. I think that's going to be a major talking point. I think the way of fixing the auction bot and the undercutters is just to add a quick sell option. So imagine you get a player wheel player at the start of the event. The suggested price is 20 million coins. What if the suggested price for something that is about 20 million coins is about 5%? You can sell it for 1 million instantly. You know that if you list that player for 1 million on the event release, it's more than likely not going to end up selling. However, if we do look over the announcement of what EA have included in the beta, audio commentary and stadium effects we've already covered, upgraded visuals we've covered, the skill games and matches, which we don't need to really talk about, versus the second head-to-head is pretty much the same. New menus and user interface we've already changed. The new training system, I think we need to wait on an announcement to fully understand how it ends up working. For me, it's a little weird at the minute. Simplified Star Pass, which is why I didn't really cover on it. The login bonus, I don't think it'll stay the same for the new season. The 3,000 FIFA points a day might end up being replaced by something like gems or something like that. The new storefront and store packs, I don't think looks too bad. Again, I've commented on the walkout situation. However, nothing in here is said about the market. So whether the market is just a direct copy from the Korean version into the beta, no one knows. But then Ant-Man has also said that he's going to let us figure out the market for ourselves. So they've not included the market in the modes included, but then Ant-Man's also said he's going to let us figure it out. Is he letting us figure out so that we just get an idea of what it's going to be like in the beta? Or is he not commenting on it because it's not going to go forward into the new game? I'd like to know your opinions on that one. I am looking forward to the new season because of the amount of new features that have been added have been more positive than the negatives. But I'm just nervous about if we come back to this video in 6 months' time, we'll be like, the game is finished because of these two major issues, which is the market and the player stats now being able to go over to like 270. However, the claim all buttons, 60 FPS, set pieces, 343 diamond, skill moves, weak foot, stamina, the walkout animation, team skill moves, new stadiums, crowd sound effects, everything like that is all a huge dub, but you can't help focus on the negatives. I think when we're supplying our feedback to EA based off the beta, we've got to specify what we like about the beta. All the new stuff that's been added, which is positive, we've got to enforce that. However, we've got to also let them know about the things that we don't end up liking. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the beta below. Are you looking forward to the new season? Are you like me, a little bit nervous about some of the changes? Most of all, for me, it's positive. I'd probably give the beta maybe a 6, but it's hard to weigh up how we feel about the game when the game isn't officially out there. We'll have to see by the time it comes to like mid-January or so when the game does end up getting released. But I appreciate everyone watching this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it a lot. Reminder, if you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And until my next video, I will catch you a little bit later. Till then, stay safe, stay epic, and peace out. Adios.